What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a significant Escape from KYLN update here in regards to some of the newer added rooms right now. And guys, keep in mind, this is data mined, and obviously nothing's been confirmed yet until Marvel Strike Force via blog post or via announcement does officially say. But I mean, this is at least a sneak peek if you guys are interested what is going to be changing, as I'm sure you've seen from other content creators as well. So it's really the addition of 3 traits on top of the previous rooms that have already been implemented in the game. Very, very interesting setup, guys. So first and foremost, in case you guys need a background here of Escape from KYLN, remember, this was a 40-stage, 40-cell game mode, very similar to Avengers Tower. Only difference is that you're only allowed to use 3 characters in terms of building up your squad and working your way up. You have to be level 65 to participate. In addition to that, the rewards are quite juicy. Even last time, we saw many folks getting rewarded the 3 Diamond of Gambit. So a really opportune moment to actually take advantage of some great reward that you're able to push through your roster. And typically, if you already have built up rosters, it's going to help out immensely, as you're just double dipping and taking advantage of the value you've already had on hand. Having said that, because you're only allowed 3 characters on your team synergy, it's very important who you bring in, and it's pretty fun, honestly. It's a really different, unique take on the game, and having 3 characters and making the most out of that 3-player team on your roster. So these are the prison rules. There's no cooldown. It's very, very similar to kind of how Scourges and Legendary Trials work, where you know, just because you fail a specific attempt, it does not necessarily mean you're gonna get pushed back down. You can actually take multiple attempts on the same level, very similar to Scourges and Trials. Now, having said that as well, characters can't be healed in between battles, so you do need to be strategic. Thankfully, you can reset, and then restarting a run completely will actually drop you down to floor 1, but that's only if you hit complete reset on all the progress. And the nice thing about this is that you can do this all in the duration of a day, so it's a fun game mode where if something doesn't work or something doesn't go your way, you can actually reset it and then obviously work your way up once again. Now, guys, if you recall, too, this is the cell requirements that we've had from last time, right? So apparently, through, again, and nothing's been confirmed, guys, so keep in mind everything can be subject to change here. But apparently, from cells 1 to cells 40, it is actually staying the same. So everything that you see on screen here, with the exception of the new added ones that we see on the very bottom. So cell 1 to 4 is no restriction. 5 to 7 is Guardian or Infinity Watch. 8 to 10 is Avenger. 11 to 13 is Global Skill, 14 to 16 is City Mystic, 17 to 19 is Asgardian. I found that this was typically the moment where you start kind of dividing up your roster between those that are in the mid game and end game, because up to cell 19 is where it got, you know, there's a sizable bump up in skill level and the enemies faced. So then starting off with cells 20 to 22, you do need Spider-Verse Tech or skill at gear tier 15. So as you can see, even requiring a minimum level of gear tier, right? 23 to 24 are Global Mystic, and then 16 at cell 25. 26 to 18 is Villain Mutants. Finally, we have Hero Tech at gear tier 16 at cell 29, and you have to push in the gear tier 17 for the following cells at 30 and 31. And then next, you got X-Men at 17, which is pretty sizable because they obviously want to push that Extreme X-Men synergy up there. That's actually where I stopped before as well. I just couldn't get beyond that point because my characters were not in fact built up. 35 to 37 is Legendary Gear Tier 18. Many folks should have this with Dark Dimension 6 completion. And then finally, Villain Bio, Gear Tier 18, and most of the time likely involving the assisted services of Super Scroll if you have them unlocked. So now, guys, the last 3 that are added here, keep in mind, this is data mined, right? This is subject to change, and this is what's officially in the JSON files. So no one's confirmed this officially, but apparently, you know, there is a bit of truth to it, because we know that there has been some dialogue, excuse me, from Archangel himself, and he mentioned that there was going to be some value to be had from both the Undying as well as the New Spire Society team. So it does kind of check off what he was saying and mentioning in the announcement. So you can see cells 41 and 42, Spider-Verse skill at gear tier 18. I got 43 to 44, which is Cabal or Underworld at gear tier 18. And then finally, to wrap things up, 45 to 46 is Villain Bio or Undying at gear tier 18. Now, it's interesting because there actually would be in totality here 46 cells, and as you can see from before, this escape plan that they've had outlined was usually a 40 cell game mode. So what I suspect could be a couple things, right? They could be adding it, but it just seems like a really off and unusual number. And it's interesting that this cell 45 to 46 is also still Villain Bio, which is the same as the previous 38 to 40. So what I suspect is that these last 3 cells could very well replace maybe what's going on in the last 6 cells of the game. So they may very well actually remove what's happening with legendary and villain bio, and then replace that all of these new sections, and that would make sense. It still would be a clean number of 40, but again, this is why this is data mined. We can discuss this and we can speculate, but at the end of the day, nothing's confirmed. So guys, the next part of my video then is I do have kind of what's broken down in terms of traits and who you should be focusing in on, and thankfully there are some value to be had still, because even with the addition of these new traits, keep in mind though, Archangel did confirm that some of these characters that are intentional, obviously they want us to invest in the newer characters, they're going to have more of an advantage in these modes. But and goes without saying though, there's still some really good characters that we can use instead of having to invest in some of the ones that have already been placed upon our disposal. So first and foremost, with Spider-Verse skill, obviously that's really situated and focused on the Spider Society team, right? They're the newest raid team. The developers, Marvel Strike Force, they want us to invest in them, so they want to give some extra value to be had here. Now, having said that, Kraven and Black Cat are in this bucket as well. Even in Kingpin, I mean, I think the 3 of them can actually get the job done. You don't necessarily need Spider-Verse skill, Spider Society team here, but if you guys already built up, characters like Ghost Spider, Spider-Man Noir, just be mindful of the fact that you need them at gear tier 18. If you've already unlocked Spider-Man Pav, as well as Peter B. Parker actually getting introduced in the game today, so you could very well have his unlock before the event goes live next week. So just something to be mindful of. And Penny, I believe she's probably going to be next month's monthly character, so we won't see her introduction. So it's really going to be the first 4 up here, plus minus Black Cat, Kingpin, or Kraven, if you want to maximize already some investments you have in your account. Personally, I think Black Cat and Kraven are probably the best of the 2 here, but again, the nodes could very well be designed so that it favors the Spider Society team, and for that reason then you're going to be getting some extra value if you're already building up these characters for raids. Next up, we have Cabal or Underworld. So this is where it gets more interesting, because if you did bring up Kingpin from the previous difficulty, well, you're going to be getting some much additional value here with Kingpin, because he can be used in actually both sections, which is very interesting. He's a good support character, being able to clone and, being able to bring his minions up and add that protection, as well as a good kit overall, especially if you're using them in war, you're going to be getting some value. But obviously, I think this node is going to be really tailored towards Cabal, and Cabal truly shines as a 3-piece. So this one, unfortunately, I don't really see a choice here. Yeah, even if you do have some extra value in Mr. Negative, Kingpin, or Taskmaster, I have a feeling this is designed for Cabal. So if you guys were, debating on building Cabal, this could be the extra ammunition that you need, right? Especially if you're debating back and forth between bringing them up as a Crucible team. Well, they're likely going to shine in this specific section if these data mines are correct. So that gives us, really little wiggle room to work with here. But in the meantime, there probably will be some other creators, other content out there that utilizes perhaps the Underworld team, and we can see if that's feasible. So I would obviously hold off on this investment until you get that confirmation, but it's probably going to be designed for Cabal, just as a heads up. And then finally, guys, Undying or Villain Bio being the last 2 cells is kind of a blessing in disguise, right? Because there's actually a lot of Villain Bio characters. I don't know if anyone's going to truly utilize the full Undying team. I don't know if it makes sense, to be honest, just because there's so many good characters here, including Lizard, Leader, obviously Super Skrull himself. We got Carnage, Venom, if you brought them up for not just Dark Dimension, but Incursion raids, even Red Goblin himself, so there's actually a good amount of options there. But they did, again, previously confirm that the Undying team is going to shine better than the other options. So it's just hard to believe that when you have a character like Super Skrull being available for this, right? Even Moonstone will be a good option. But yeah, thankfully with these last 2 cells, there's an abundance of options. So I don't think we're going to need to be too worried about this. We'll probably will be able to mix and match and theorycraft a bit here. So there you guys have it. These are the 3 new sections or rooms coming into the Escape from KYLN. Again, not confirmed, but that's what's been added into the JSON files via data mines. So we will wait until the blog post comes to confirm this information. In the meantime, I wouldn't recommend investing in anything, because there's actually a lot of good characters already in these sections, with the exception of obviously the Cabal didn't give you much choice, but everybody else, we have the opportunity to pivot. So don't invest just yet, guys. Just be aware. I just want to circulate this information so that way we have the most up-to-date resource at hand, and we're ready to pivot where need be. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Let me know what you think in comments below, and as always, I appreciate you guys' time. I'll catch you guys in the next one.